Hi, and welcome to my first ever episode of Daisy Cakes Bakes. Working title. So, everyone has, this is super weird doing this on my own, but I guess it's how we roll in lockdown, right? So everyone has their favourite chocolate bar. If you don't, weird. But my granny and I are addicted to Crunchies. So obviously, I had to try and make it on my own. So that's what we're going to make today. Chocolate covered honeycomb. Super easy to make, doesn't take very long at all, doesn't use a huge amount of ingredients. And frankly, homemade's better than shop bought. Don't tell Cadbury, please don't sue me. It's just my first episode. So let's go. So what you're going to need for this recipe is, you're going to need 124 grams of caster sugar. You're going to need 43 grams of liquid glucose. I've actually got 46 because I can't seem to measure properly, but it will be fine, hopefully. 9 grams of bicarbonate of soda, and the magic ingredient, 23 grams of runny honey. For later, you'll need 300 grams of chocolate. I'm actually going to use dark chocolate here. You can, of course, use milk chocolate, or if you've got a super sweet tooth, you can use white chocolate. A heavy bottom saucepan, a whisk, a sieve, a metal tray with parchment paper, lightly greased, and a thermometer. If you don't have a candy thermometer, don't worry at all. I will show you the colour that you're kind of looking for, and I'll also give you the temperature. I'm not going to use the thermometer today, living on the edge. So now the first thing that you want to do is you want to put your tray in the freezer. This is going to stop the sugars from continuing to cook. Because if you overcook the sugar, you're going to burn it and you're going to get a horrible bitter taste in your mouth, and it's not what we're after. So, first things first, we're going to put all of our ingredients in the pan, except the bicarbonate of soda. Glucose in. Probably easy for you, you can buy a squeezy bottle and squeeze it in. And then we're going to stick the honey in. So we're basically using a mix of sugar and inverted sugar. I'm not going to go into the science of inverted sugar because frankly I got thrown out of chemistry at school. Which is ironic, really, considering the profession I'm now in. So I'm just going to put it on a medium heat and leave it to do its thing. Make a cup of tea. I have one here. Drink your tea. Keep an eye on the sugar. You don't want it to burn. We're going to use the pastry brush and the water just to brush around the edges when it starts bubbling, just to stop it from crystallizing. Okay, so I can see that it's starting to bubble. So I'm going to grab my tea. I'm going to grab my pastry brush in cold water, and I'm just going to run it around the edges. You don't want to add water, you just want to run it around the edges so that it turns into steam and it prevents the sugars from crystallizing around the edge. And then continue to drink your tea. And wait. You can smell the honey cooking. It's amazing. So it's starting to turn sort of golden brown. This is when you really need to keep an eye on it because it will suddenly just turn and you'll overcook it. So it's sort of just before the colour of orange juice you want. Which I'd say is probably about now. Now, you're going to turn the heat off. You're going to grab your sieve and you're going to sieve the baking powder onto it. Now you want to work quickly. Get your whisk. And just whisk it around. You can see it gets this darker colour going to take it off the heat, move that, get the pan, tray from the freezer, and then you also want a spatula, I don't seem to have, and then you can see how much it's grown. You just want to pour it gently. You want to knock out any of those bubbles. Gently into your pan. Be careful, really careful not to touch it because it is super, super hot. And very gently put it back in the freezer. So that'll be ready in 10 to 15 minutes probably. It will shrink slightly, that's fine, that's normal. In the meantime, we will get to making the chocolate coating. So essentially when I say make the coating, what I mean is melt some chocolate. So I have here a bain-marie or a double boiler. I just have a saucepan with some water in it and our bowl of 300 grams of chocolate. And I'm just going to let it do its thing. Occasionally I'm going to stir it just to help it along and even out the heating process. But really, we're just melting some chocolate. Just give it a stir, just to keep it moving. So we'll leave that for a minute. I'm going to grab our honeycomb from the freezer. So you can see that it's now gone hard. We're going to break it up into little pieces. I like a variety of sizes. Stop it. And then once we've broken them up, we're going to dip them in the chocolate. Fun part. So just going to break them up into pieces. It'll be fairly easy. It's also quite sticky. Don't worry if some bits crumble. Bits that crumble you can put over ice cream or yogurt. Like that. There you go. So our chocolate is nearly melted. Just make sure that everything is incorporated. I'm going to turn the heat off because I don't want to overheat the chocolate. And actually I'm going to take it off the heat completely. Somehow. Out of the way. I'm working on a metal surface, so I don't want it to heat the metal up. I want to keep it nice and cool. A good way of testing if your chocolate is too hot is actually just to dip it on your lip. If it's kind of warm, it's okay. You don't want to have it really hot. If you have it too hot, you burn your chocolate. You just want it to be kind of warmish. So, now we're going to get, just roll my sleeve up for this, don't wear white when you're doing this, rookie mistake. So grab a piece of your honeycomb, dip it in, get your fork, make sure that it's all covered, and then just put it on. I have a tray with a silicone mat here. If you don't have silicone mat, just use some parchment paper. Just keep dipping. I I am so excited to start eating these. So we're going to stick these in the fridge. You could probably leave them at room temperature. It is winter in the UK, in London, so probably just leave it out in your kitchen. I'm going to put these in the fridge because I literally can't wait to eat them. So I've taken them out of the fridge. They are now set and ready to eat. So I think I'm just going to dive in. So good. You can see the bubbles in the honeycomb in the centre. So the bicarbonate has done its job. Kind of the perfect sweetness between the honeycomb and the slightly bitter chocolate on the outside. So good. So I'm going to continue to eat these. I will put a link at the bottom for the recipe with all the conversions and everything, including the temperature that you need to boil the sugar to. So, happy baking!